All right, everybody, welcome back. This is the Northwest Sportscast, the Icebreaker, our weekly hockey segment where me, your host Levi Kubert, will go over all of the week's top NHL news, hockey news. Before we begin, just a reminder, we are still looking for a co-host of this show. So if you guys are interested, please check out in the link in the description right down below in the video. We have our email posted. We also have our Instagram posted. So send us an email or give us a DM if you're interested in coming on a weekly hockey talk show. It's about 20 to 30 minutes. It'll be over Zoom. It's super easy. Um, yeah, it's very, very low stress, but pretty fun. I would say it's fun. So yeah, the NHL, the Icebreaker on the Northwest Sportscast. We'd love to have you. The only real requirement is that you know hockey and you love hockey. And it's a great sport to love. So, now let's get into the video. I'm going to start off by giving you guys my power rankings. First things first, number 1, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Nothing has changed from last week. The Golden Knights are still the best team right now. 5-1 record, 10 points, 4 wins in regulation, so they're not having to go to overtime that much. 19 goals for to 12 goals against. Pretty solid ratio there. I would see a little more scoring. I'd like to see a little more scoring, but still not bad. They're doing a good job in winning their faceoffs, 51.6% there. Only 10% power plays, so I would like to see them get a little more capitalization on those power plays. But I have the Vegas Golden Knights at 1. I think they're the best team right now. At number 2, I have the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're 5-2, also have 10 points. Once again, 4 wins in regulation, so they're doing a good job not having to go to overtime. And one thing that I'm a little bit worried about the Maple Leafs is their goals for, only 22-19. So I think the Maple Leafs, unlike the Golden Knights, they need to work on their defense a little bit with 19 goals against. But still, it's a +3 ratio. Hopefully, it'll get better for them. But one thing I really like about the Maple Leafs is that among all teams, they are second place in face-off win percentage. They have a 57.3 win percentage there, which is really, really good. So I really like to see that for them. Also, shots per games played, by the way, they rank, I think, 10th. They rank 12th in shots per games played, 31.7. Golden Knights are at 19. First in shots per games played is our next team, the Montreal Canadiens. Yes, the Canadiens, I have them at number 3. There we go. They are 4-0, 10 points. They do have those 2 overtime losses. So that's the one thing I'm a little bit worried about is they're 0-2 in overtime, but they haven't lost in regulation yet, which is really good to see. They have the best goals for to goals against ratio, 29-17. That's +12. That is really, really good to see. And that's what makes me think the Canadiens might be contenders all season because they're scoring a lot. Their defense is pretty average. So really solid scoring. They lead the league in scoring as far as I'm aware. Yep, they lead the league in scoring. Combined with an average defense, right? They are like 16th in defense, 16th in games in goals against across their 6 games. So average defense, really good offense. They're looking pretty good. 45.7% face-off winning percentage, not very good there, but it's understandable. I mean, I'll cut them a little bit of slack for that because they do have all those points. And I will say though, maybe the points is simply because they do have the most They do have the most shots per game. The Canadiens are averaging 35.5 shots per game. That's the top of the league. The bottom of the league in that category is the Flyers, who are averaging only 23.7. So they're taking the most shots. They're also scoring the most goals. And they're doing all right in their goals against. So that's the Canadiens. I have them at 3. Number 4, I have the Washington Capitals with 9 points, 3 overtime losses, and 3 wins. That is a little bit troubling with a 1-3 record in overtime. As far as a 1-3 record in overtime. So that is not the best, but still 3 wins in regulation. So I like to see that. The goals for to goals against is not great, only +2, and the 45% face-off winning percentage is not great either. They're not taking a ton of shots, only 26.8 per game. So that's interesting to see that. They're not taking a lot of shots. 31.5 shots against. There's more shots against being taken than shots for. By the way, the Vancouver Canucks have the most shots against, 36.4. The lowest is the Boston Bruins, 22.6. The Golden Knights are not being shot against at all, 23.5. So that's just another reason why I would say that the Golden Knights are the best team. Now let's move on to number 5. I have the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're 4-2. They've definitely been doing much better than the last time we talked about them. 8 points right now. Only one regulation win, which is not promising. I have to say, it's not promising. They do have one overtime win and 2 shootout wins. So that's what they've got. 2 shootout wins. I think that's the most. Yep, tied for the most. 2 shootout wins. Is it good to be winning in shootouts? No, but at least they can win in shootouts. The one thing I'm worried about with the Penguins, 19 goals for, only 23 goals against. So they're -4 in their goals for to goals against ratio, which is not a great place for them to be at. But at the same time, it's excusable right now. But if that doesn't even out soon and they don't start scoring more than they're giving away, they will probably fall off the top 5. But right now, I mean, I know he's getting old, but Sidney Crosby's still a great player. And the Penguins are getting hot right now. So I have them at number 5 on my rankings. By the way, they're not getting shot against that much at all. 26 shots per game. That's 5th best in the league. So their defense is not allowing many shots, but they are 23 goals against. So interesting to see how that plays out. I think right now, though, the next order of business is this big trade. Pierre-Luc Dubois being traded to the Winnipeg Jets from the Columbus Blue Jackets for Patrick Laine and Jack Roslovic. What a trade this was. I mean, this is a huge. It came in 2 days ago. Pierre-Luc Dubois, the 22-year-old, spent his entire career with Columbus up until now. His first 2 seasons, really solid stuff. A guy who got a full 82-game season in both of his first 2 seasons. Missed a little bit last year, 70 games though. And scoring 61 points in his second season. That includes 27 goals, 34 assists, with a plus-minus of 16 that year. Last year, he has a plus-minus of -2, which is a little bit troubling, but considering he had 16 the first year, that's a good plus-minus. Not great, but good. A lot of penalty minutes, I have to say, in his second season, 64 penalty minutes. But considering that he's had so many points, I think you can forgive the penalties. By the way, only 2 power play goals out of 27 that entire season. So he does a good job scoring, not even on power plays. And 5 game-winning goals that year too. He's supposedly one of the best young players in the NHL, the number 3 pick in the 2016 draft. I would say he probably hasn't lived up to being the number 3 pick yet, but he's still a very good player. He's very young, has a ton of potential. So he is gone from the Blue Jackets. He's on the Jets now. Patrick Laine going over to the Blue Jackets. So here's how his career has been. Also 22 years old for the Jets in his 5th season as well. Now on the Blue Jackets, one of the worst plus-minuses in 2018, -24. But look at the points he scored. It's totally forgivable. 64, 70, 50, and 63. That is 4 straight years of above 50 points. He scores more goals than he does assists up until last year. But that's good to see, have a guy who can actually score, not just getting you assists. He does benefit a lot from power play, but I get it. 20 power play goals, 15 the year after that. And penalty minutes, not as much as Pierre-Luc Dubois. You can see 24, 42, 22. So pretty good. I would say, honestly, Patrick Laine has probably put up better numbers than Dubois has. Laine is a right wing. Dubois is a left wing. So they do play different positions. And obviously, they play on different teams. Yeah, I'd honestly say that Patrick Laine has put up better numbers. So it is interesting that Dubois is considered like the star of the trade. But I think Dubois probably has more potential than Patrick Laine does. Also, Jack Roslovic included in the deal as well. Roslovic, 23 years old, playing in his 4th season, really his 3rd. His first season, he played just 1 game with the Jets, and then his second 2 seasons, he's pretty much been a bench player, doesn't get a ton of minutes. He did have a solid 14 and 24 points. He's a center. He's been a solid backup center. This year, he doesn't have any stats from this year actually. I don't think he's played yet this year. But yeah, solid player. He was a first rounder. So that's Jack Roslovic. Not nearly as good as the other two guys, but still a nice addition and definitely has potential to become something. Only 23 and he was a first round pick. So with that, after that trade has been covered, just a little bit of other news. You've got Mike Hoffman signing a $4 million one-year contract with the St. Louis Blues, 31 years old. Mike Hoffman says he wants to win a Stanley Cup and thinks he's in the right direction to do that with the Blues. The Blues are not that bad. I would say the Blues probably aren't contenders for the Stanley Cup yet, but they're going to be good this year. They're going to be in the playoffs. Hoffman last year, 59 points, 29 goals, 30 assists. That was across 69 games with the Panthers last year. He also had 3 goals, 2 assists in 4 Stanley Cup playoff games. Only 7 players have scored at least 22 goals in the past 6 seasons. He's one of them. The others are Patrick Kane, Nikita Kucherov, Brad Marchand, Sean Monahan, Alex Ovechkin, of course, and John Tavares. So that's definitely a solid statistic. He's keen, he's reliable. He's not the best player, but he's definitely going to help your team out. So that's a good signing by the Blues. I'm happy with that. We also have defenseman Chris Russell signing a $1.25 million contract extension with the Oilers. That's going to run through next season. The 33-year-old, yes, his comment was that he's very proud to be an Oiler. And as an Oilers fan, I'm happy to have him back. He did miss some time last year, had a neck injury, but he was pretty darn good. 236 points across 13 seasons in his career with 20 postseason points as well. So he's definitely another solid player. Again, not the best guy on the ice, but definitely a player who he's consistent. He puts up good numbers for you. And I think he provided some good veteran leadership that the Oilers really need if they want to continue their I guess winning their winning time. So there we go. Move on, check out some of the stats. We've got kicking things off for us, Anze Kopitar. He leads the league in assists for right now with 9. So give it what you want. 9 assists, only 1 goal. So it'll be interesting to see how that holds up. Kopitar, by the way, every season he's played, he's had more assists than goals. The center for the Los Angeles Kings. Yes, the 33-year-old center for the Kings. So having a solid start to the season, obviously leads the league in points right now. 1 goal, 9 assists. It's a weird ratio to have, but I mean, give it what you will. It'll probably even out. But Anze Kopitar, obviously, still off to a pretty nice start. So then we've got Connor McDavid. Obviously, Connor McDavid, probably the best player in the NHL. He also tied with Kopitar in points with 4 goals, 6 assists. The great thing about McDavid is that he can score even at even strength. 8 of his 10 points have come at even strength. That's really, really good. Also, having a ton of shots. He leads the league in shots, 33, and has a 12% shot percentage, which I'm wondering if you go to just qualifiers where he ranks there. Well, I'll probably get that for you guys later, but right now, Connor McDavid, having a fantastic season. as well as we would expect him to, because he's Connor McDavid. See, then we got Tyler Myers, Vancouver. He is not having a good stats. 23 penalty minutes. He leads the league in that. Across 7 games. Tyler Myers and Vancouver. Yeah, and you can see Vancouver not having a good season. They are currently 2-5. So yeah, the Canucks 2-5. Tyler Myers not helping with his 23 penalty minutes, and he does have a plus minus of -6 as well. Speaking of plus minus, Jeff Petrie right now has the highest plus minus. He's at +9. Yeah, Jeff Petrie having a good season. Look at him for the Canadiens. A guy who last year had a plus minus of -10, -5 the year before that, -30 the year before that. So he's never really had good plus minuses, but he's at +9 right now. So that's exciting to see for him. He only has 2 goals, but does have 5 assists. And the worst plus minus, I wonder who that is. It's Erik Karlsson as well as Brandon Saad. Both of them are at -8. Brandon Saad not off to a great start. Despite playing in 6 games, he has just 1 goal, 0 assists, -8, averaging about 14 minutes per game. That's Brandon Saad from the Colorado Avalanche, a guy who has scored 52, 53, 53. So he's a guy who at one point had 3 straight 50-plus point seasons, but right now he is really struggling. Anyways, enough about the plus minus. We can probably move on from that. Let's go to time on ice. Brent Burns right now for the Sharks. He's leading the league in time on ice, 28 minutes and 7 seconds per game across his 6 games. Only 4 points to show for it. He's a defender, however, so I mean that's pretty excusable. You don't need to score a ton of points as a defender. 28.07. So Brent Burns once again proving just how reliable he is. The 35-year-old defenseman who's still able to play that much. So great to see him with that 28 minutes. That's a lot of minutes. That's like half the game. Wow. Only 8 penalty minutes as well. So doing good in that regard as well. So after that, let's go to some of the other. Very quickly, we can look at points per power points goals. John Tavares leads the league there. He has 4 goals. All of them have come in power play points. So say what you will about that, but when all of your goals have come when there's a guy missing from the field for the other team, I don't know how good that makes you. But obviously John Tavares, still a good player. I'm not going to say that he's not. He's very good. But yeah, considering 5 of his 7 points, all 4 of his goals and 1 of his assists have come during power play, I guess that just means, he's good at capitalizing on it. So yeah, game-winning goals, Austin Matthews leads the league in that with 2. Also at 2, Joe Pavelski, Mark Stone, Jordan Cairo, Leon Draisaitl, I think that's how you pronounce it, Draisaitl, and Gabriel Landeskog. And leading the league in shots, Connor McDavid. Austin Matthews also has second place in shots with 29. So now going over to more of some defensive statistics, we get blocks. And currently the leader in blocks is Adam Larson. Adam Larson, 25 blocks, the defenseman for the Oilers in 7 games, 25 blocks. And he also leads the league in blocks per 60 minutes, which is basically blocks per full game. He's averaging 12.8 blocks per 60 minutes. That is super, super good. In my opinion, blocks is a great stat to look at. I know some people don't like blocks. I think time on ice definitely is something that helps you get blocks. But yeah, Adam Larson off to a great start in blocks. Here's not a good stat. Giveaways per 60 minutes. Giovanni Smith is averaging 10.9 giveaways per. There we go. Giovanni Smith's averaging 10.9, almost 11 giveaways per 60 minutes. Not a good stat to be the leader in. Look at Giovanni Smith, the 22-year-old in his 2nd season. Last year he hardly played. He's hardly played this year also. But yeah, not a good stat to see Giovanni Smith, considering he is considered to be a top prospect and is hoping to break out this year. Also leading in takeaways, we have Mark Scheifele. Mark Scheifele with 8 takeaways this year. The center. So it's interesting that not a defenseman, but a center who leads the league in takeaways. Takeaways per 60 minutes, the leader is Connor Bunnaman. So yeah, another stat that I think is maybe underused at this point, takeaways. A lot of people don't think that takeaways is a good measure anymore of ability. I definitely do. Speaking of stats that people do think is a good measure of ability, well, actually, I'll get to that in a sec. First of all, missed shots, not the one that you want to be leading in. Taylor Hall, 14 missed shots, so he has the most, and 10 of those shots missed wide. 2 of them missed over the net, and 2 of them hit the post. Yeah, none of them hit the crossbar. 14 missed shots, that's a lot for Taylor Hall. And he's playing 21 minutes a game, though, so the Buffalo Sabres, clearly they think that he's going to improve, and hopefully he does improve. I like Buffalo sports, so I tend to root for the Sabres if I can, unless they're playing the Oilers. So yeah, there's Taylor Hall, though. Not off to a great start. Now we'll go to a stat that I think a lot of people really, really like. This stat is called Corsi, sort of an advanced stats, basically a measure of how often the team has the puck. Right now, I'm taking the player with the highest Corsi who's played 5 or more games, because a lot of the players who have really high Corsis have barely played. The guy with the highest Corsi who's played 5 or more games is Joe Thornton on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's see if we can get an actual. There he is on the Maple Leafs. Joe Thornton, 66% is his Corsi. So when he is on the field, they have the possession of the puck pretty much the entire time. 5 games played right now. He has a 72 Corsi, which is Corsi 4. 72 Corsi for, 37 Corsi against, which makes for a 65.1 or 66.1% Corsi. So that's a good stat to have. And yeah, that's 5 games. He's a center for the Maple Leafs. Well, I think with that, that's probably the last stat I'll talk about. Obviously, there's a lot more stats that I could get into, but that's all that I'm going to talk about today. I do need to wrap up this video. So with that, I'm going to say that's going to do it for today's episode of the Icebreaker. I'm still taking the Golden Knights as my best team. Obviously, my favorite team, the Oilers. They're off to an all right start. They're 3-4, 6 points right now. So let's just hope that the Oilers continue doing well. And other than them, I do like to root for Canadian teams, so the Maple Leafs, the Canadians, and like I said, I'm a pretty big fan of the Buffalo Sabres as well. But yeah, with that, I'm going to call this a wrap on the video. So please, if you like this video, leave a like, leave a comment down below. What are we wrong about? What are we right about? Which of my takes do you agree? What do you disagree with? And please tell your friends about it. And remember, if you are looking to join the Icebreaker as a co-host, then just send us an email, or the link, of course, is in the description down below. Thanks for watching. This has been the Icebreaker on the Northwest Sportscast.